this thing failed for one reason or another. And if I don't do something, it's gonna maybe mess up again. This is mahogany. The grain is running in the direction to resist. If I put it in this way, it would bend easily. So this is going to double the strength. Then we're going to take some braces and put on either side. We're actually getting closer to the original grid bracing of a Stella, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to glue in these two pieces with weight, maybe some special gravitonic weight generation, and that should finish keeping this flat, actually, after I get the two braces in, but this is a good start. Okay. This is glued. This is glued. And this is going to be filled. We're looking at what we've done and whether it worked. This has been shaved. Back up. As we know, I'm going to try to rebuild this bridge and make it look as exact as I can to the original. I believe it had pyramids out here. It's a rosewood 12-string bridge that I'm going to use to help me elevate this to a height of 3/8 of an inch. Right now it's a little more than that, but I'm working on it. We're at 44. We'll go down another 50 thou. You know, we're going to end up at 0.38. This has a nice slot. It's got some angle to it. There's another subtlety going on here that's too much to deal with right now. But when this is on, and a little lower, remember this thing had, the neck was pointed down into here. We're looking for this straight edge to end up on the top of this. And right now it's over the top, but it's easily adjusted to go down. Usually you have to worry to get them to go this far the other way. Anyway, this is movable back here because I haven't put the back on, but we have ideal neck angle, good neck angle. So, another thing I've done is there was a numbered label for every fret. You can see the residue of the adhesive there. I pulled them all off. They came off easily. I'm going to come up with a technique. This one's pretty dark. This one's missing most of its fill. Anyway, these are going to get refilled, cleaned, refilled. The fretboard will get leveled. This pretty good. Right here is a little shelf created by the piece we glued in. And I did that to help me put this missing binding back in. I'll fill this in and then bevel this new filler plate into where it's invisible, unless you're looking at it like from an angle like this, which even the player may not do. Okay, moving right along. Back here, we're missing the stuff and the Stella logo. Needs a decal. Anyway, I've got to replace this because it's missing here and here. I'm going to peel it up, measure the thickness, and try to acquire some. This stuff, I think I found a place in England that I can get this from that will be real close to the original. So those are some of the things that Well, I had one more thing. Here we go. Which would be, okay, come in on the wall. There you go. These cracks. I'm trying to get some grain, and anyway, these are going to be actually filled with solid birch. One more thing. This baby is flat as a bat. There was a little warpage in here. That's because there was nothing to restrain it. Once we put this plate under here, this baby is good to go. It's flat. Be very quiet. I'm making splints. I'm following the grain. Where will it take me? It's splitting along the grain. This is slab sawn birch from an old Harmony. You can see, trying to saw it into thin strips is not easy. This is maintaining. You want quarter sawn wood. You're going to start by splitting it like this. I'm just making some. I'll size them on the belt sander or with a razor blade by scraping. These will fill those cracks in the top. Put this piece in. When this is glued in, it's going to be starting to restrict the movement of my final neck angle adjustment. There's still some there, and I've checked it, and it's where it should be right now. This is going to help keep it there and strengthen the whole thing. Here we go. It's very, very thin. It's very, very thin. It's been one of the splints I made earlier. That's been thinned with the belt sander off, just using the abrasive. And right now it came out better than I would have thought. My option here is crazy glue, but it's way too fast for this application. Now I can work and I can also fill the rest of that with the glue. Yeah. Let's do that now. My splint wasn't quite as long as the... And I think I'm going to wipe a lot of that back off. I don't need it to be outside. Oops. We're still going to get squeeze out. That's okay. Now I'm thinking this will be pushed in with a block of some kind. And I'm not trying to do much more than, ooh, come on, come on. Make a pretty much cosmetic, press it in where I can. do that 1, 2 more times. Well, pretty good. We'll deal with the rest of the appearance when we do these. Oh, there it is on you. Whoa, yeah. Hey. So, these are hobby hacksaw blades. Hobby Hacksaw is the name of my next band. Hobby Hacksaw and the Hacks. Hobby and the Hacks. Anyway, not really. What I don't want are black lines on the edges where dirt has collected. I'm also kind of evening out various things that happen with cracks. The grain is fibrous, and there will be grain fibers across the crack that are still mechanically connected. Anyway, this thing has been ground down, ground the kerf off. I don't want to do this excessively because it makes the crack look bigger. It's also going to help in the insertion of the splint. Glue in there, splint here, splint there, splint everywhere. Where's the best place? We like it. Do this in a few. This is the good part. Tactile. Actually working wood. This is a mini planer. They make thumb planes. I think this, now, the grain is running downhill a little. And as I get close, I may decide to go the other way for starters. There. I have my reasons. Get bold. There's a big hump right here. We'll take it down to pieces. The contrasting color is inevitable. Now the same curve of the blade, let's reverse it. I'll expose a new edge this way. I can use the curve to control the depth of scrapage. It's only scraping here in the middle because it's slanted slightly forward. Single edge razor blade. And at some point, I'm also leveling it this way. These things tend to curve up. I'm moderating that, but not eliminating it. This one hasn't quite. 20. And so on. This one is fading into oblivion, and I can make that happen on these two most likely. So this thing looked really bad. It's starting to look really. Pickguard used to be here. I'll go see. I go to the internet, get images of what this looked like, and try to make it that way. So this is going to get a makeover. For all you aficionados, I want to point out these grooves. These grooves have pretty much caused the segmentation of each of these little pieces. They had no choice but to fall out. They probably fell out the first time strings were changed, or maybe the second time. They put these grooves in to manipulate the position of the string relative to the hole. In this case, the groove is facing this way. To pull the string closer, it's done to get the strings closer together but allowing these to be spread further apart for some obscure reason. Anyway, there's that, and a number of other things are causing me to first repair the damage and do some things. We're going to not depend on these. We're going to depend on the actual spacing with a more modern 12-string bridge and all like that. So we're just going to start. This is wood dust from the belt sander. This is going to be a multiple step operation. We're using some of the original wood there. Be quiet. Soaking back in there. There's another bad groove. Anyway, we're going to continue until this thing is level. The holes will still show, but only partially, and maybe not at all. Who knows? Hope the shadow knows. So we're almost done filling it. I've decided we're going to use an aluminum rectangle, a little bigger than the whole pattern. It's acoustically sound, robust, and won't be subject to the same problems. It's been filled and leveled. I may do a little more. Anyway, the aluminum be like 30 thousandths, and aircraft aluminum, high tensile, 6061. Now, we're getting ready to button this thing up. If we get this on here, it'll be last call for everything else. And I started getting this ready. it's about ready to have this put back on. I've re-glued the braces on this, but I still have to go around the entire edge to mate it. See this thing here? Well, it'll fit in there, but in general. Otherwise, this has been leveled. The missing kerfing's been replaced. This is one place. I may let that go or put another piece in. We've got high tensile 6061 T6 aluminum 30 thousandths right there. This is birch, solid birch, 1/16 of an inch thick. And I've cut the strips in the bias. Usually, I will cross the grain. This is a top, and cross grain offers no strength and flexure this way, but lots that way. You go cross grain because it resists cracking again. You don't want the cracking. But I didn't want that, so I put this at 45 degrees more or less, so it's a little of both. I don't know. We've got this extra brace, we've got this plate, we've got these two extra braces. We're going to end this part and start with the next part by putting this back together and dealing with the bridge. Somewhere around here. Anyway, we'll make a movie.